Okay, welcome to this lesson with Teacher Kamanga. In this lesson, we're going to revise a question that has been extracted from the past paper, Science Paper 2, 2019. That is question number 4. All right. Now, in our question for today, our main interest is we want to look at some of the terms that we can still find on the preparation of sorts. So I would urge you after this topic, after you've revised, to go back to your notes so that you see there are a lot of terms that you need to understand from that topic. So the question is saying, below is a list of substances which are either deliquescent or hygroscopic, and some which are not. Aluminium hydroxide, calcium oxide, sodium hydroxide, sulfuric acid, anhydrous calcium chloride, anhydrous copper 2 sulfate, iron 2 oxide, and sodium carbonate. So we need to understand that these are the ones that we need to choose, though some are deliquescent from there, some are hydroscopic, and some are not. So our main important aspect is to understand what deliquescent is, what hydroscopic is. They need to be very simple for us to answer this question. Now, what we need to understand is that a deliquescent substance is a substance that absorbs enough water vapor from the atmosphere to form a solution. So if a substance is absorbing enough water vapor from the atmosphere to form a solution, then that substance qualifies to be called a deliquescent substance. Now, when we look at another term which is known as hygroscopic, now the hygroscopic substance, this one is a substance that to absorb water from the air, but to be specific, it does not change its state. So it can be able to absorb water from the air, but it is not going to change its state. So we have some sorts that probably are able to do that. Like for example, I can give you an example of the cobalt chloride. Cobalt chloride is a very good example of an hygroscopic sort. So we need to understand that. There are basically some other terms that we will need also to understand, like when we're talking about efflorescence. So now the term efflorescence, it means that it is the loss of water of crystallization to the atmosphere. So the loss of water of crystallization to the atmosphere, that is what is known as efflorescent. Then also we also have what we call anhydrous salt. Most when we're talking about anhydrous salt, it is just a salt that has lost water from crystallization. A salt that has lost water from crystallization is called anhydrous salt. Now, the same hydrous salt, if water is added to it, it becomes hydrated. So it means that the same hydrous, if it has lost water of crystallization, but now you add water to it, it changes to what we call hydrated. So these are some just few terms that we need to understand when it comes to chemistry in terms of preparation of salts. So let's find time to go through so that whichever way it might come, it is going to be easy for us to be able to answer questions. All right, now let's come back to our questions. So the first question is saying, from the list given above, choose one substance which is a deliquescent substance. From the list above, choose one substance which is a deliquescent substance. So what we are saying from the list, we probably have two substances that are deliquescent substances. For example, we have sodium hydroxide, and also we have calcium chloride. So these two, they are probably deliquescent substances. So we can choose one from there. So our answer there, we can choose either sodium hydroxide or calcium hydroxide. So we need to choose. So it's either sodium hydroxide or calcium hydroxide. So we have this sodium hydroxide here. Then also we have the calcium chloride, which is also there. Okay, so we can choose that. So between the two. Okay, so this one we understand. We are done. Then let's come to the hygroscopic. So when we're talking about the hygroscopic substance, there we have calcium oxide. So calcium oxide is hygroscopic, which is just there. Okay, so this one is our number 2, which is a hygroscopic substance. So we need to understand that. Okay, we come to A3. neither deliquescy nor hygroscopic. So the substance which is neither deliquescy nor hygroscopic, it is aluminium hydroxide. So aluminium hydroxide is neither deliquescy nor hygroscopic. So aluminium oxide there. So this is the third one, the aluminium oxide. Okay, I hope that one is clear. So we see that this one we were cleared and this one we are also cleared. Then let's come to B. We're saying what is the difference between a deliquescity and the hygroscopic substance. So like what I've already mentioned in my preamble to say, when we're looking at a deliquescent substance, this is a substance that absorbs enough water vapor from the atmosphere to form a solution. Then when we're talking about an hygroscopic substance, we said it's a substance that absorbs less water vapor from the atmosphere. So the difference probably will just come from there. So in our presenting our difference, we're just going to differentiate using their definitions. So the way we're going to present our answer in this case, we're going to say a deliquescent substance are substances that absorb enough water vapor from the atmosphere to form a solution, while hygroscopic substances are substances that absorb less water vapor from the atmosphere and fail to form a solution. So that is going to be our difference. So I would urge you to, if you want to master that, you can still be repeating the video on that one, so that it will be very easy for you to repeat it, to understand and also be able to remember. All right, let's come to the last one. We're saying some substances are said to be fluorescent. What is fluorescent substances? So what is fluorescent substances? You remember again, I'd mentioned something on the fluorescent substances, of which I said that fluorescent substances, this is a loss of water of crystallization to the atmosphere. So the loss of water of crystallization to the atmosphere is the one that we're calling fluorescent. So the fluorescent substances, these are substances that have lost water of crystallization when they are exposed to the atmosphere. So you find the substance has been exposed to atmosphere, then it loses its water, then we're calling that substance to be a fluorescent substance. So a substance that loses water of crystallization when it is exposed to the atmosphere. All right, so that said, we need to understand to say these can be easily mastered and also seen if you go back to your notes and also try to check through there, so that you see even a number of other terms that you need to master. All right, it has been Teacher Kamanga with you. Don't forget to subscribe and also put your notification on, so that each time I post a video, you'll be able to know and also be able to follow up. Thank you. Prepare well for your exams.